Well, one of the things that I just love about this film, obviously I worked on it with you, but one of the things that I just love about the film generally, the premise is awesome. I mean, to have like this character who was bullied, become a bully advocate, meet their childhood bully, like the whole thing to me is just such an incredible premise, and the execution of it is like is a ton of fun to watch.
I'm really sorry.
And what were you doing on a date with a guy anyway, huh? Are you gonna tell me you're gay now? Are you gay?
So what if he is, you bully?
And how did you guys develop this idea? Where did this all come from?
Armistead and I got together and we're talking about a project to work on. And Armistead Johnson he wrote it, we did the story together, and then he helped produce it and starred in it too. So I think we were just kicking around some ideas for it for a while. And the thought of it really was to do a feature, which we had worked on for like a year and a half. But then we were having trouble getting funding, so we decided to upfront the money ourselves and just make a short of it.
So what was that process like? I mean, obviously taking like a huge feature-length script and like boiling it down to a short. Like, how did you guys do that?
We had a script, and the script was a little bit longer, and we started working with the production team who was doing the budget, and they explained to us, if you can cut like 20, 25 pages off of this feature-length film, we can make it for this amount of money instead of this. So I think that really set us up for success for the short, because it was kind of just like, what is the bare minimum of what we need?
What was the biggest challenge in making this film?
This was the first short film I'd ever made before. So I think there's probably a lot of things that come up just in the filmmaking process. And Army and I have a deal that only one of us can freak out at once, and somehow it magically worked out. The first one that comes to mind is, which turned out to be a great thing. Our DP was on a feature, and then they had to do reshoots 2 weeks before filming. So we lost our DP 2 weeks before. But then we got to work with Robbie. And it was a completely different camera, because with our cinematographer before, like we were going to rent a red camera. Like there was a lot of like technical changes, whatever, go with the flow. Day before shooting, a location didn't work. And so I was like, okay, figure that out. Another day of shooting, it was raining and we were supposed to go outside. Okay, we gotta make it work. Oh God, and I just remembered another one. One of our actors, his dad was in the hospital and they thought he was in critical condition. So he had to back out the day before shooting, and I called in a favor to a friend who was willing to do it on his girlfriend's birthday, but then the original actor's dad pulled through and he was able to do it.
And all of this as you are not only director producer, but also one of the lead actors. And like, can you talk about having to juggle that and, you know, have such a heavy, you know, role in the film? I mean, what is that balancing act like?
I think the main challenge is like time and not getting to watch as much playback as you'd probably want to do.
How did you get yourself to go from director mode to actor mode, like on a dime?
I think that's actually the easiest part, because you can kind of almost cut out a conversation. Like, you don't have to have that conversation. Like, I already know what I want in my head. Whether or not I executed it well in that take or how the shot was set up, like, sometimes I wish I could have seen that more.
Sure.
But then that was a great learning experience too, of like trying to let go of some control and like putting more trust in you, and like, you know, it's a collaborative effort.
What do you hope people take away from the film when they watch it?
My first impression is so horrible to say. It'd just be nice to get more eyeballs on it and more people to see it, because I think there's like some good performances in there. I mean, it's very funny, but at the same time, I think the core issue, and this sounds a little dark, is kind of why hurt people hurt people. So if people can take a second to check themselves and check their behavior.
So whenever I heard "Wait It Out," when I heard the title, I couldn't help but think of the "It Gets Better," right? Like the "It Gets Better" movement, the theme, the encouraging words. And so, what was that at all? Maybe this is an Army question, but I'm sure you can speak to it as well. Was that at all an influencing factor?
Grayson, you're 100% right. It's based on the Dan Savage whole "It Gets Better." Like, he's just totally mirroring Dan Savage. And where the twist came from, I mean, the film is very much kind of like Mean Girls meets Will and Grace. So I think Army and I both have like a darker sense of humor. So I think that's where that came from. Of just, wouldn't it be funny if someone's a fucking anti-bully and they're the biggest bully of them all?